Good morning. We are broadcasting live from Chicago Marriott Lincolnshire Resort, where we're going to be answering all of your wedding venue questions with catering director Linda Schumann. Linda is going to be talking about your wedding venue searches this morning, from everything you do once couples get engaged, to when you search for your venue, to when you visit a venue. So Linda, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
We're so excited to answer all of our viewer questions and get started. So, to start, when couples get engaged, it is very exciting and sometimes confusing. So, what's the first thing that brides and grooms need to do before they embark on their venue search and planning journey?
Well, with technology right now, most of our brides and grooms have already done shopping online. So they're already making plans to visit venues that are exactly what they're looking for. So because of Pinterest and all of the things that they've been planning, even before they were engaged, they usually have a good insight of what they're looking for.
That's so true. It's all about savvy shoppers these
all
days.
About savvy, yes.
And that makes a lot of sense. So, once a couple decides to tour a venue, what are the next steps that you and your team take?
When they've decided to come and visit us, what's most important is to find out as much about them in a very short period of time. We usually have an hour time that they have with us, so we know that we need to know as much about them, so we ask them a lot of questions.
Okay, and that's a great point. I know couples come to the table with a lot of questions, but what are some of the questions that you and your team prepare to ask?
We want to find out about them. We want to know how they met. We want to know where they got engaged. It tells us a lot about them because it starts their story. And then we can go into more of what's important to them. Why did they choose us? Why are they coming to see us? What did they see that's important? And then we can talk more about the hotel and what's going to best fit what they're looking for.
That's so great. And that's also really great because it ties back into a lot of those online searches, like you said. Why did they choose this particular venue? Something had to stick with them. That's a great point, Linda. So, okay, those are the questions that you would ask. Now, what are some of the typical questions or the most important questions that couples should ask venues?
Well, as I said, they come to us very well versed, and most of them have a budget in mind. But it's important to know what their budget is, not just for the venue, but for their whole wedding. And we can kind of help them and walk through that. As we have a lot of experience, we can kind of talk to them about the different pricing. They also need to ask, are we flexible? Can we customize? We don't want cookie cutter weddings. We want to be able to be flexible, and those are the questions that they usually bring to the table, is how flexible are we? Can they really design their own wedding? And they definitely want something different.
Absolutely. And that's a really great point too, Linda, all of those little details. So, when couples come to these when they come and tour a venue, should they have their vision pretty well worked out, or is it okay to kind of still have it up in the air?
Oh, please have it up in the air. And so many decisions, they definitely have a basic idea, but that's what's fun and exciting is we're here to customize with them. So they might have one idea and then change it completely once they're here and they see all the different things they're able to do.
Great. And we just, we have a comment here from Ashley. Ashley H. just said that she got married here 4.5 years ago, and she said it was such a great experience and that you were such a great help, Linda. So to the rest of our viewers, Linda's
thank you very much. Absolutely.
That's great. So, that's great to hear that, that flexibility is there. I think it helps take some of the pressure off some of the, people searching for a venue. So, what is something that, couples should have a good idea of? Are there any specific details that they should come to the table with or have a pretty good idea about?
I think what's most important is that, like I said before, that they do have a budget in mind, a complete budget, and then kind of walk through that, because we could start with them wanting and thinking that they have to offer a choice for an entree, and then because the other costs are going to be a little bit higher, we can then offer a chicken entree, still have a beautiful wedding, and still be able to do all the other things that they want to do within that budget they have in mind.
That's really great, Linda. Again, it just comes back to that level of flexibility that not necessarily everyone offers. With that, you mentioned a couple things about costs in some packages. Should couples be worried about, not necessarily with Lincolnshire Marriott Resort, but should couples be worried about, any hidden costs or ask any questions regarding, what might be available in their package, what not, or is it pretty laid out on paper?
I think that's the most important question, is what are the hidden costs? As we share with our brides and grooms, the packages are to give them an idea of the pricing structure, but nothing set in stone. And that's important for them to find out from other venues and other places that they're looking at. It can say one thing, but what are they not saying? With our package, it's all up front, everything that's in there, but that doesn't mean we're not flexible and able to create their dream and make their wedding a reality here.
That's great, Linda. And, again, all about that flexibility, all about that customization here at Lincolnshire Marriott Resort. You mentioned a little bit ago that the average tour takes about an hour, but when people come into Chicago Marriott Lincolnshire Resort, is there a set time or no? Okay.
We want them to feel as comfortable as possible, and a lot of times people are coming to shop with members of their family, so there's a lot more questions being asked because it's a group effort, and a lot of times these are families meeting for the first time when they're deciding on a venue. So as much time as they need to answer all of their questions and for them to feel comfortable, when they walk out that door, they've already put space on hold because they're thinking this is where they want their wedding to be.
And that's a good point, and it leads in right to our next question, and that's, what's the most important thing that couples should take away from their venue experience, their venue tour experience?
That this is where they want it to be. They want to feel comfortable. I want people to feel at home. That's what they should feel, because they're going to be spending a lot of time here at the resort and having the most important day of their life here shared by all of us. Mm-hmm. So it's important that they walk out feeling that comfort, that this is where they want to bring their family and have the most special day in their life.
That's great, Linda. So, following the selection of the venue, say everything has gone beautifully, which most of the time it does here at Marriott, what's the next step? They say, okay, let's move forward. What does that look like?
At that time, then we would put a contract together for them and send it out, and anything that we had discussed, even if we need to do a proposal to customize a package just for them, that would all be included, and then they would have 5 days after that to make their deposit and sign their contract.
That's great. So you mentioned a few moments ago, and I'm just backtracking, that sometimes couples do decide to put it on hold. Is that a common practice?
What I share with them is if you are even considering it, please place that date on hold, because once you walk out the door, if you have not held that date, it could go within an hour. So it's important that you hold the space. It's complimentary. We hold it for you for 7 days, and that gives you the opportunity to shop around, and as I tell them, shop around and come home to us.
That's such a great line, Linda, and it really, you do make everyone here at the resort feel very, very comfortable. If I'm a couple and we do put our date on hold, how long does the resort hold that date for us?
It's usually 5 to 7 days. Now, sometimes if it's a 2018 wedding or something and you need a little bit more time because other family members need to come and see it, we're flexible and we'll work with you on that.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Again, flexibility and comfort, all here at Chicago Marriott Lincolnshire Resort. Before we wrap up here, is there anything, a piece of advice that you would like to give our viewers today or newly engaged couples?
Well, we would love for you to visit our websites and Twitter and Facebook and see exactly what we're all about. But most important, let's get you scheduled soon to come and see us.
That's wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Linda, so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to answer all of our wedding search questions. We're really looking forward to our next wedding broadcast.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Great. All right. If anyone has any questions, you can contact Linda at any time. She's
Absolutely
very available. And of course, like she said, please visit all of our websites and our social media pages, even our Pinterest page for some inspiration.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great week.
Thank you.